Brick Stage Pass. Another transatlantic AFOL who you've probably seen chilling out whenever London's calling, or hanging out on Twitch, and he's starting his own city. I see you with those mocking skills. Damn, son. This was not a paid advertisement for the Cali Brick Click, but we do want to spread Lego love over all platforms. Oh yeah, is my game good also?
Yeah, you're good. You're better now.
Okay, for sure.
Press good, good, like always.
I'm in the kitchen. I'm not cooking. So.
Oh, okay. 5, 4, 3, 2. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Cali Brick Click, episode 55. And before we get into the introductions, like always, remember you can find this episode and all previous episodes on Spotify and anywhere else you can find podcasts. And like always, we have Claire, who's in her kitchen. Boop, boop. Silence. Thumbs up. We got Ninja. Bricks Ninja.
I'm sorting over here. That was a way better intro so far. I just gotta say.
Oh, it's better than last time, apparently. I just realized we don't have names on here. Whoops. And today, though, we have Ezra. Ezra Builds Lego as your Insta handle, right?
And then you went static on me right at that moment.
Oh, okay. So his audio kind of sucks on his end. That's his bad. So whatever. That's the army for you. Technology and that don't mix.
Let me do that in and out thing.
Cold-blooded.
I'm just like talking trash about the army because he's army.
Damn,
and he can't hear it.
That was actually like pretty good timing right there.
That was good, right? There he is again. Boom. Radio check. Can you hear us now?
No, it's still static. I don't know what's going on. It's only shy.
Does everyone else hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Yeah.
No, it's everybody. Hang on.
Radio check.
Yeah, I don't know. It's still doing it.
Okay, we're good now?
Yeah.
Sure?
Seems good.
All right, cool. Awesome. All right, so...
Smart as the average tanker.
Wow. All right, so we have Ezra Builds Lego for this week. And Ezra, tell us a little bit about yourself, because you're in the YouTube space. You come from the Instagram world. Like we said in previous episodes, we're kind of trying to merge the two communities together. So you're another person in that community that is now here. So tell us about yourself.
Well, like you said, I'm Ezra Builds Lego. I'm a 40-year-old AFOL from Southern California. Yeah. I like a lot of folks, I got back into Lego with this pandemic mess. I started as a way to hang out with my kids, and it snowballed ridiculously.
That's how it goes. Yeah.
Right. It gets out of control so fast. Now I'm sitting here the other day, I was looking at all my Lego and sorting and stuff, and I looked at my wife and I'm like, if 10-year-old me would see me now, he'd be so freaking proud.
Yes.
Yes. I think child us would love what we have in, like right now.
Child us's would be like, you've made it. You're living the dream.
You did it, bro. You did it.
You did it.
I don't know about the married part. But like,
that part is like
is a good spot.
So yeah, I'm a lover of all things nerdy, particularly Marvel and diesel punk type stuff like airships and mechs and alternate history. And so yeah, I really started kind of dipping my toes into the Lego thing with a couple of mech builds, and then came the Atalanta. So several years ago, I did an art piece for my ship that started with the captain, and the ship was actually a background piece. And when this pandemic thing kicked off, I was like starting to accumulate Lego, and I was like, you know what? I want to build an airship. I want to build a flying pirate ship. And my wife's like, yeah, whatever. So I'm like, what do you mean whatever? And she's like, yeah, whatever. And I'm like, watch me. So
it's an impressive ship. I mean, Ninja and I both have seen that in person, and I think it's one of the best ships I've ever seen as a mock. That's like,
oh yeah.
Out there, like that's especially steampunk. Steampunk.
Yeah, it's unique. Yeah, exactly. It's not just a boat.
Pretty proud of her. She's pretty big, and right now she's in a horrible state. She's all torn down. The masts are down. I have part of the rear deck off.
Wait, doesn't that normally come off? Didn't you take that off for us last time? Oh, no.
No.
Now, did that all break during transportation, or did you just break it down, or it just got messed up?
A lot of it came off during transportation, because the drive back from Colorado, that was the last convention I took it to, was Colorado. The drive back from Colorado was kind of hard on it, but it wasn't too bad. I mean, as you can see, she's still pretty much intact. It's just little details that aren't there, like the masts and stuff, and they're just laying there. I could stick them back up. I'm just lazy.
I didn't have to ask you this in person, but your ship, is it modular? Can you take it apart easily, like the Titanic? Or is it one huge thing?
No.
Would you put that in consideration in transportation? Keeping in mind having to move it consistently. To make it
I did build it with moving it in mind.
Okay.
But I decided to make it a single sturdy piece rather than modular, because of the challenge of making something that big swooshable.
Okay.
Because technically she is swooshable.
Yeah,
if
no,
you
I've seen
can,
photos.
yeah, if you can lift up and swoosh around an 80-pound airship.
If you got the guns for it. Sheesh.
Speaking of guns, you're a veteran too, right?
Yes, sir.
Who are you with?
3rd Infantry Division, U.S. Army, 2006 to 2011.
And you're a
I was
tanker.
a tank, M1A1 Armor Crewman with Delta Company, 4th Brigade, 64th Armored Division. I even have my guide on.
Is that a guidon that you stole, or is that a guidon that you bought and made? Oh, no comment. Never mind.
I'm not
Anyways.
supposed to have my guide.
Anyways,
How did that get there?
why you just took
How
a
did
year
that get
off?
there? It was reappropriated.
That's so bad. That's so bad. Should have joined the Marines. You could steal a lot of things.
We don't steal in the Army. We reappropriate.
Nice.
Tactically acquire would be the correct
Tactically
terminology.
acquire.
Nice
Yeah, there
verbiage.
you
That's
go.
right. Tactically
There you go.
acquire.
Well, it's also good seeing other veterans on like the Lego space, because for a while I thought I was alone, and recently within the past 2 years, it's good. Like I've seen more come out of the woodwork, so it's good to
We
see.
even have an acronym. We're VFOLs.
Hey, nice.
I've only heard that once, and like a year and a half ago, I've never heard it again until like right now.
Nice.
I love it. I think it's
Keep it alive.
hysterical.
Everyone's weekend or week been since.
Getting those extra hours got to cover for that that little vacation I took, I guess, right?
Well, yeah, you got a job.
That's a terrible habit.
Yeah.
Terrible. No, I'm good. We were in Ohio for a bit. We're back now. It's nice to be back. And then Sans is going to Brick Hill, Alabama, so he's excited for that. He's leaving tomorrow.
Oh,
We're getting back ready for convention season, which for us means going, which I'm excited about. But yeah, and so I don't know. It kind of feels like, now it's 2022. We get to look forward to Chicago and Virginia, and that'll be a lot of fun.
So I'm for sure going to Chicago. The family's coming, but not to the convention. I'm going to the convention.
Nice.
So it looks like because since Brickmania's World War Brick is like right after that, like the following weekend, we're gonna go to Chicago and then drive to Minnesota for World War Brick like right after that. Spend like a week on the road. I think it'll be pretty fun. It was a good way to merge like a family trip and something I want to do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's what we did with Colorado.
Oh yeah. So what convention were you just at? Or in December?
I was at Brickfest Live in Colorado Springs, which was a 3-day out, 3-day back drive from Orange County, California.
Up to 15 the whole way?
No, God, no. We actually took 66 as much as we could. I don't know about you, but I have a very hard time driving on busy highways, especially if there's debris in the middle of the road.
Oh, yeah. That
I totally understand where that's coming
So
from.
I prefer side roads. They just make me more comfortable. And I really don't like driving in the city, especially like certain parts of like Garden Grove, Gardena. All those areas just look a little too familiar.
I get it.
See, that's how I feel about driving on the
get it.
freeway with all the traffic. I'm like, I'd rather just take the side streets. My brother's like, just take the freeway. It's faster. I'm like, I don't like to stop and go. I
It
just want
used to be.
Plus, people can't drive. They don't fill up their blinker fluid. I don't know what's going on right now.
Oh my God. We were coming back from Compton today and people were driving us crazy on the 91.
What were you doing in Compton? I'm just kidding. Don't need to answer that question. If it's Lego related, that'll be dope. Because if you went to the hood for Lego,
For bulk lot.
yeah,
I
right?
went to the hood to buy food for this guy.
Oh,
Oh.
nice.
This is my dragon Bumpy, the chubby lizard dance.
He was making for anyone who's listening to this right now, we have a lizard on the screen who is now shaking his belly.
Yeah, so we named him Bumpy after the little dinosaur from
From
Camp
Camp Cretaceous?
Cretaceous.
Yes,
Nice. Nice.
I love that show.
You're
My
such a
family loves
dad.
that show, but like it's really good. Jurassic World, Camp Cretaceous on Netflix.
It
It's
is
really
actually-
good.
It's
My
really
kids are-
good.
Absolutely love that show.
Because at first you don't really know like when is this happening, but it kind of links up the movies together, and you're like, oh
Yeah.
look, there's blue. But like, it's
Oh,
it's
damn.
really good. It makes me excited for Lego sets.
I was like, man, this is an emotional roller coaster when I put it on. It's like,
It
damn.
is.
It's like, really?
Oh my god,
Straight
it
out the
is.
gate? Oh my gosh, guys.
Right? You know how many people die on that show?
Yeah,
Like
it's
pretty
a
much
kids show.
Everybody
Yeah.
but the kids die.
Pretty
that
much.
show.
Yeah,
right
it's
there, man.
gnarly. Speaking
Don't
of
fool me,
Jurassic World, check this set out. All the separate pieces. I found the front end and some of the rotor blades, the tail with the sticker, and then the side stickers. Like I found all the crucial stuff. So I was
okay.
able to rebuild the whole thing with whatever missing stuff I had. But I got the rest of the instructions from Lego.com and finished off the helicopter.
No, it's a good set. Mine didn't last that long. It probably lasted like a week, and then it was in pieces that I can't find anymore.
Yeah.
I was able to get the nose back, but I mean, whatever. It's in my kids' collection at this point.
Isn't it funny how our kids always seem to have a separate Lego collection?
It is.
Yeah, then my wife gets pissed about it, so it's like they just end up in the
Me
office. Here.
too.
It's
Oh, she's
how
still
it has
there?
to be.
She's
Why do you have all these toys if you don't let the kids play with it? Because they break shit.
Speaking of children and conventions, I was just at Bricks LA this past weekend, and there were no kids. In fact, it was adults only, and it was private, and it wasn't there was no public day, so it felt very weird, and I didn't like it. I've been to Bricks LA before, and it's really really fun. It's very builder based. It's not there are a lot of games and a lot of like mocks and stuff like that I think Brickfest doesn't do. I think Brickfest is more for like playing with kids, which is dope too. But this one really felt odd to me when it was just adults. And not to say that it was a problem with any of that, because like it was cool to have a little bit more intimate conversations with like fellow builders and stuff like that, and then like kind of talk the process when they're actually setting up during the day and not have to worry about someone destroying and walking away from your place. But after like a couple hours of that, it was just like, now what?
Mm-hmm.
And
So-
like,
Did it start to get competitive, like in a sort of like a
that's
one-uppy
the
kind of
thing.
way?
Yeah, so that was the thing that I definitely felt. So I knew a lot of the builders that were there. I met them before. I don't think they were trying to one up each other, but it definitely felt like a sense of elitism between them and some other people. So my friend and I, Daniel, so Papa Bear, we just wanted to go to war with each other. Since it wasn't public, we didn't do what we wanted to do. We just like, you know what, screw it. Just put our armies against each other and call it a day. Call it easy. But when we didn't have a generic plan doing this. We're just like, you know what, just bring everything you have. We're just gonna build on the spot. So we're like, okay, cool. So we brought 3 castles together and we literally put it together. We spent entire night there building it, and then next morning we didn't finish it till like 10 o'clock the next day. So merging 6 castles together and then setting up our army. We had a blast doing it. Like we were making up stories, having fun. And then when we were done, we're like, dude, remember when you were a kid and used to play with toy soldiers and stuff? You would imagine like your 10 soldiers were like an army of like 50,000. This is like the closest thing to that, because I'm looking at all this and I'm like, I see like there's 900 minifigures on this table. 900.
Like we said
And, like,
earlier, old you would be
so
like, I'm
nuts.
proud of you.
Right? And I'm looking, I'm like, this is dope. Like we're this whole storyline, just like maneuvering the minifigs and positioning them and forming up in different ways to make a storyline. We had like a blast, and I feel like only a certain amount of people appreciated that at the convention, and none of the elite builders that were there gave 2 rats about the figs. All they cared about were my trees.
The techniques you use to make the trees.
That was it. They didn't
Everything
give
is about
single
NP.
Yeah. They didn't give a crap about the 600 Black Falcons that are formed up and all the stories and things that you can find. All they cared about was like, oh my God, your trees. How did you do that? And that's all they talked about. Not one mention to anything else. Then again, there were people.
I mean, they were nice trees.
Yeah, they are nice trees. I'm proud of my trees. But like, I was just like, damn, this isn't as fun as I thought it would be. And then we came back to like, if there were kids here, they would love this. It's a bunch of minifigures. You can't go
So-
wrong with that.
As far as how many people were there, like, how do you think it was compared to Brickfest? Like, do you think
What
it was
do you mean?
necessary for it to be just VIP?
I mean, yeah, Brickfest is like open to the public. There are there are thousands of people that went in there.
Yeah,
Here there was like 150 total.
Wow.
that's
It was
something I
kind of,
could
it was
think.
very like, okay, I'm gonna go now. I'll come back later when my game's up.
That's so
Um,
weird.
It was cool. Like I said, it was fun. It was cool. You got to like talk to people that you wouldn't normally talk to unless you were all there during the building day. You know what I mean? So you got to really like have a conversation with people that you don't normally speak to. So that was cool. But like,
Yeah.
I could have done that in one day, honestly. Just one day of that would have been fine. Having it scattered between 2.5 days was just like, okay, this was a little much. And you know, like, and I was really there just kicking with Daniel and like 2 other people who I really know. Like we kicked it with each other pretty much the whole time. Went out to eat, went to kick it, looked at looked at everybody's builds, but we could have done that in like 4 hours, kicking with each other, like spread loading that whole time. And like the whole public aspect of it was completely like missed. And I was just like, I get it. Like they weren't allowed to, they didn't have the insurance for it. And a lot of that had to do with like COVID restrictions and then the convention center. But it was just like, damn, I had two things. One, I miss the kids. And then two, the sense of like, I'm in a different level than you was definitely felt.
Oh,
No boy.
I definitely felt that. I'm like, dude, I'm not trying.
You just brought minifigures.
Dude.
I just like my minis.
Anyone can do this.
It's cool. No, it's fine. But that also brought me back to something that you said too, because a while back I asked you, are you coming to Bricks LA? And I asked a lot of people that same questions I know that normally would go and showcase something. And a lot of them said no. One, because there's no public day. But for you specifically, you're the only one that said it's because the kids won't be there. And that kind of resonated with me a little bit because that reminded me that ultimately this thing's for like is a toy. We all love it for what it is and what we can do with it. There's a sense of innocence that like we all have when we play with this product and however way possible that is missed when not reminded that it's a children's toy.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean?
I personally, I know it exists on the internet, and I've seen it, people using Lego, involving it with Rule 34, basically. And it just doesn't strike me right because Lego is for everyone. That aspect of it is just distasteful to me. When I heard other builders like, "Oh, are you coming to Bricks LA? It's going to be great. There's going to be no public." I was thrown off by that because I was like, I thought we did this to inspire the public, not to measure ourselves to each other, But I'm not a competitive person either. I do what I do, and I'm happy with what I do, and if people don't like it, they can pound sand. Yeah, it really is for the kids. I have two sons, and I started back on this because of them. As much as they drive me crazy, I try to do this hobby with them. I try to take them to the conventions. And I mean, you have kids too, so you know how difficult they can be. There's something about the wonder and joy and awe from a child's perspective that really inspires me. And without that aspect of it in the convention, I kind of don't see the point.
There was a moment where, so the way the Bricks LA was housed, it was in like the smaller rooms, but there's multi levels.
Yeah.
And there's just one level where you can access just because it's a stairway, so you can go from one level to the other without going to the bottom level where the mocks are. So a father and son made it to that one level, and the kid like was trying to see all the mocks, but he couldn't because he wasn't allowed in there. Even though he was like not up close, you can still see like the magic and innocence in his eyes and amazement of what he sees. I just felt bad that he couldn't come up close to it.
Yeah.
Right. It's like the biggest tease ever.
Right.
Yeah,
and it's my wife tells me that all the time. She's like, when you tell the kids they can't touch your Lego and you have like all this great Lego in your room, I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
double-edged sword right there.
I've kicked my kids out of the room for a week just so I can get it clean.
It's
Only
like starting the chocolate factory, she says.
Only to mess it up myself. Like I literally had it clean for a day, and then I'm working on my city right now, so I'm working on rock work right here, and I rearrange a lot of stuff. So my room's a mess again.
My whole area is an absolute disaster right now, and I'm like being so lazy about putting the shit back together. I have a 50+ pound bin of unsorted bulk that I don't want to touch.
I don't think a lot of people like touch bulk. Bulk is very overwhelming when you like have to organize it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because you don't know where to start.
Yeah.
I take it. What I do, I get a scoop. I take a pad cup, get a scoop, and take it scoop by scoop.
So you said earlier that you primarily do brick fests. Is there
those are the only ones I have done? Yeah.
Is there a reason to that, or is that just the ones you've done?
Those are the ones that came up locally to me first,
mm-hmm.
being in Southern California. We don't have a whole lot of options like some of the other areas.
Right.
I don't think we have a lot of big options. We have options, they're just not. They're not
We
as.
don't have a lot of big options.
well
That's
known.
true.
I think a lot of that has to do with like where the mass of influencers are, both in like on social media.
Oregon.
Because people see those,
Right.
and they flock to them. Like I had to like Google it here to find something like that. You know?
Yeah,
what I
I did too. And the first thing that came up was Brickfest.
Yeah.
So Pasadena, I was like, well, that ain't far. I'll go to that one. So that was kind of how that all came to be. And then we had a really good experience with Pasadena, you know. The event coordinator, she was awesome. And, you know, I got to meet your crazy self and a bunch of other folk. And it was a really good time. So, you know, and it got my wife on board, which is probably the most important win of all.
Yes.
Yeah,
Check.
that's true. Yeah,
There
I don't
you
know.
go.
My wife told me the other day, like, I know you want me to like this stuff, but I don't.
Dang.
I'm like, okay, but it's cool.
Put the nail in the coffin. She was like,
She's just like, yeah, that's cool. I'm not gonna get into it. I'm like, all right, that's fine. I'm totally cool.
My wife likes it, but she doesn't like that it's in our bedroom at the moment.
Yeah, no,
That's my
Yeah.
problem right now.
no,
So
I don't have that problem.
she also likes making jewelry out of Lego and dots. She's really into like the
Hey.
dots jewelry and stuff.
Gotta rock
Okay.
the dots.
She's sitting over there playing GTA Online right now and giggling at y'all.
On
She's a nerd
Xbox
too.
or
Wait,
PlayStation?
so talk. You should just come in here.
I was giving her crap about it. I'm like, you're a gamer. She's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, you play Red Dead Online, you play GTA Online, you play The Sims. I'm like, you are a gamer.
Hey,
She
no shame
didn't
in
like
that.
being labeled like that, did she?
Oh, the label.
It's a label.
That's
Because you
no
labeled
bueno.
her. That's why, dude.
Oh wow.
This is Cotton.
Look, it's a much bigger long-haired cousin.
Fluffy.
She's a Maine Coon. She's 20 pounds.
He's like
She's
8 pounds.
Yeah,
Big.
she's enormous.
Fluffy.
And she likes to come and sit on my chest at night.
Oh my
And I
god,
can't breathe when she does it because she's humongous.
she's
my
so
God.
cute. Look how you're like why are you grabbing her tail?
She's like, stop. Stop.
She hates it. She hates it. Oh, but
I
I'm
just
so
want to love you.
She's like, you're lucky the camera's
She's
on.
so mad. She'll never do anything. Never, ever, ever.
Oh yeah, Maine Coons are sweet like that. He'll like rip your eyes out. Yeah.
Well,
But
that's a breed.
she's big and gigantic and dumb and scared of her own shadow.
Did you get the tiger? Did you get the tiger?
The tiger set with the little.
Yes, with the
The
anatomically
rosebud?
correct flower piece. You didn't get it? That thing like sold out. Like my Lego store is sold
They're
out. Of
doing
it,
the
like,
audio
first
thing
day.
again.
Oh, your thing sucks. Let's kick you out again.
No bueno.
This is the arm.
No, I hear you, but it's not through the headphones.
Oh my god.
Do
And
you like
had
how
a
they look
higher
like
ASVAB
CDC
score than I
headphones?
did? You had a higher ASVAB score. Really?
Cold blooded.
Really?
I had a 96.
And you became a tanker.
Yeah. So that just proves that ASVAB is not an intelligence test.
It's not. But you had a 96 and you became a tanker.
That's what every single NCO I ever had said to me. And my wife, you had a 96 ASVAB and you became a tanker. And I'm like, yeah, I wanted to blow shit up.
Could have gone Intel or something. Whatever. Anyways, going back to the thing. So, was there another reason why you didn't do Bricks LA aside from the whole kids thing? Or was that primarily it?
Well, it also fell on my wife's birthday, and we decided to go up to Monterey for her birthday.
Oh, okay.
And I was going to do a collab with a particular Lego Master who was not in attendance. So because he was not in attendance, I was like, well, screw it. If you ain't going, I'm not going.
There are 3 others there.
Yeah, but this dude and I were going to do a collab. So I was, I'm not going to name names, but
Yeah, I knew he wasn't coming down. So,
yeah, he couldn't get the time off work. So I was like, well, then I'm just going to take my wife to Monterey. So
oh, that makes sense.
we went
See that
whale
work?
watching, and I got seasick for the first time in my life.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Do you normally sail the great oceans?
Yeah,
Or
I'm from
water in
San
general?
Pedro.
Oh, that's right. It's
Yeah,
not.
but
It's
when
not. It's not Los Angeles to you.
No, but when you get older, it's like your inner ear goes. So.
Is that what it
and
is?
your hearing sucks.
Yeah, there's like your eustachian tube. Basically, there's this like fluid in your ear that like gives you like a sense of balance. It's almost like a counterweight of sorts in a sense. I don't know. That's like a very weird way of saying it, but it like gives you the sense of balance, and that whole area kind of gets old.
Yeah, I haven't really been on a small ship like that since I've had my TBI in the military. So
So that should be a secondary disability. Getting vertigo while you're on a ship or a boat.
I mean, a lot of people get it.
This was after you picked up.
Like, I can't look at it. I've never been able to like look at a cell phone in a car or like read in a car and stuff like that, you know?
that's
So,
my wife.
yeah, it's like even when I was a kid, and like now, like roller coaster, like get out of town. That's why I like Disney so much, because I'm like, okay, I can do these roller coasters. It's like for children / me. I love this. It's great.
It's fun, not scary.
Yeah, I don't throw out my like, you know, L1, L2 when I go on those roller coasters. So it's like, it's fun. Except though the like drop tower ones, like those still scare me like crazy.
I went on Guardians once.
Well, I went with a bunch of 22-year-olds, and they like grabbed my hand and like put it up in the air.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So my wife used to work at the parks for like a decade, and she opened Tower of Terror.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So she used to have to ride it all the damn time. And she even said, like, Guardians is way crazier than Tower was.
Guardians is way crazier than what Tower
Yeah.
was.
I went on Guardians and I'm like, this ride is fantastic. It is incredible. It is a masterpiece. I am never freaking going on it again.
What's literally, aside from the whole visual aesthetic and storyline, what's different between Tower and Terror and Guardians of the Galaxy?
Well, Guardians,
like it's the
Swings you up and down.
it depends.
Yeah,
Like,
you're just going up, down more?
No, it depends. So
It's
like
different,
it depends
yeah.
what song you get. So like whatever song you get, because it's like, you know, music is like a huge part of that movie and that franchise.
Wait,
And
it is?
Mhm.
Sorry.
It's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
Remember,
I
it's okay.
couldn't
Remember,
help it. I couldn't help it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
it's okay. It's
I
remember
have
we
to
have
apologize for it.
it's okay. Remember we have a podcast and we have listeners, so sometimes we have to like spoon feed a little bit. But anyway, so because of that, you know, the ride, you end up basically getting like a different experience every time you go on.
Yeah, that's Tower of
I
Terror was
didn't know
just
that.
up and down, up and down.
I think the different shafts were different, weren't they? On Tower
Oh.
of Terror?
Yeah, there's the alpha.
That's right. They had different.
Yeah, they had Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie shaft. And
Yeah.
I think Charlie had more drafts. but-
Okay, yeah.
That was like only the only difference. But Guardians is way
They changed it up.
yeah.
So it's
they
like
really
random, pretty much. Like it's whatever the song is.
yeah. It's like she said. It
Yeah.
depends on the song. Like
You
when
drop,
we went on, it was
it's like Soul Cycle, but free falling. It's
Yeah.
like,
That sounds fun to me.
it's fun. It's fun because it's like, you know when it's coming. Like if you know the
Yeah.
song, you know it's like, here we go. And it's like,
and you can tell if you pay attention to like Rocket and what's happening in the story, you know it's going to happen, but you're still not ready for it.
no,
I don't think you're ever ready for a drop, no matter when it's happening.
no. And
Even
I'm
when you're
like,
looking down a roller coaster like Goliath at Six Flags,
dude,
like you see it and you're like, this is the worst decision I ever made in my life.
there's no turning back.
And then you can't do anything. And then you go down and you scream.
I used to like, when I was like younger, when I was like probably like 16, I used to really enjoy like the mental exercise of calming myself down in situations like that. Like,
Don't look down.
no. I would look down and I'd be like, it's fine. You know what I mean? Like you're strapped in. There's nothing that you can do that's in your control. If
Hey, what's this goal?
yeah, but like statistically speaking, like if something does happen to you, it's very low risk, and even so, it's still out of your control. So you might as well like enjoy this time, this decision that you made to be on there. And it's like I liked that. I liked that like mental exercise when I was younger.
That's basically the same mental exercise that you take going into combat, though.
Well,
like-
I'm not a veteran at all.
I know, but like it's
Yeah.
like you probably would have done really well because it's like it's the explosive ordnance disposal mentality. Like either I cut the right wire and it's fine, or I cut the wrong wire and suddenly it's not my problem anymore.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
You're done.
there's no
it's basically it.
Wow. We brought that here. Sorry,
No,
guys.
but I don't know if I would have. You never know until you're like, I guess, in the situation.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
But if you already understood the process of calming yourself down in that situation, that's really good. A lot of people can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I've definitely had like panic attacks. Like when I got older, I just became claustrophobic. Like out of nowhere, all of a sudden, you're claustrophobic. You hate being around like super crowded. No, I mean, I knew why it happened. I was in like some scary, like kind of concert, like trampling situation. Like I saw a woman get crushed, and it was like not great. But basically, like she's fine. She survived. But and then I started doing like scuba diving, and that helped a lot. But like if we're like in really crowded like spaces, like really dense elevators and stuff, like I can't. Like I just like face a corner, and I'm just like, nobody else is in here with you.
Is that now or like always?
Probably
Prior
30 plus.
Pandemic related.
Yeah.
I would say like 30 plus. Yeah, like
Okay.
30.
So
no.
before pandemic.
See, I had a similar experience after 35 with people, but it was more just liked
Annoying?
people less and less.
I
Yeah,
think it's more of
definitely
annoyance.
like less
Yeah,
than
it's annoyance.
You become
You just
fluffier.
start picking the humans you choose to socialize with. Like
and then
Lego
you
people.
slowly start getting senile. Like that's pretty much where we're going.
Eh?
No, but I definitely, when I was like 24, my parents took me to Egypt. It was like a really cool experience. I
Oh, that's
did
rad.
not enjoy going into the pyramid. I was like, I hate this. This is the worst. I can't, because I couldn't stand up. It was like the first time I'd been in a situation where I couldn't stand up. And I was like, this is the worst. and, like-
yeah, that feeling of no control. That's what.
Yeah.
that's what that
Yeah, it's probably, at its basic, it's probably like no control, but like no escape. Like you
Mhm.
can't,
You
like
find
there's somebody behind you, there's somebody in front of you, there's like, you're kind of bent down, your head is like in someone's ass and someone else, and then basically like you go up
That's
and
my
you go
nightmares.
into- yeah, you like don't know
I was
how
gonna say
long.
that's MEPS.
It sucks. It's a MEPS is something different for you than it is for me.
It's the military entrance processing station, and it's pretty traumatic. It's pretty traumatic too.
Oh, it's mechanical, electrical, plumbing.
Oh, I didn't know that. Is that like servo motor toilets and stuff or something?
No,
I don't know.
it's just like for making sure you have those 3 drawings like in your drawing set. Like, do we have MEP or MEPS or whatever in there?
But for us, it's the military entrance processing station. And
Which is basically like hazing.
No.
but
It's like it's a long, grueling
No.
process to make sure you're fit to be physically capable.
enlist,
Of it.
yeah, it's
But
It's
you
where
do
they
a lot
find
of,
out
like-
if you're claustrophobic. It's where you find out if you have like panic attacks and stuff like that in situations.
it's where you have to walk like a duck in your underwear, and some old man probably will like squeeze your stuff and make you
As you're
cough. And
walking. Yeah, it's
it's
it's very
MEPS
uncomfortable.
is really weird.
But
it's
squatting
really
down,
weird.
being not knowing if someone's behind you or forward is a perfect description of that.
Well, anyway, that sounds terrible.
It's
We just
really
went there.
terrible. It really
really
is.
Um,
Anyways,
cough.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, getting old is really
Yeah,
fun.
exactly, Ninja.
getting old does suck, but it also does not suck.
You're telling me I just turned 40.
I
That
just-
sucks.
so one of my really good friends, I hadn't seen him in like a year or so since he lived in New York, and he came over with his like new girlfriend who's like quite a bit younger than me, and he looks at me and he's like, tell me, like, is your digestive system also like just going to whack? And I was like, no, like, what are you talking about? I am like, are you kidding? Like, I'm a female who's been like, societally like forced to try to figure out how to lose weight my entire life, which means like I have messed with food my entire life. I'm not digestively messed up. I'm not like a dude that's never had to think about eating, and all of a sudden when they're 37, shit hits the fan, like no pun intended. But I think I remember when this happened to my dad. I remember when my dad was like, I can't eat like burgers and pizza all day. I was like, what's wrong with me? And it's like, no one's ever able to do that. This,
No. That's me right now.
what, it's like you're learning that you couldn't
Like,
have done.
I can't do that. Oh, heartburn. I shouldn't have had that
learned
slice of pizza.
vicariously. vicariously through everyone else.
I don't feel
My
bad.
wife and I now take walks every day.
That's good.
Nice.
That's good.
It's just like, but then like normally, like a year ago we'd be running, but like now it's just like let's just go for a walk. And I'm like, and we're
You just-
walking, and I'm
Reason
like,
to get back into it. It's okay.
well, I'll still go work out, but we'll still take our evening. It's cool because it also keeps us away from kids. It's like a little more intimate time. We can actually talk because we're not like forced. There's no phones in front of us. We're forced to have a conversation. So
Hey, that's healthy.
it's
right
it's
there.
good. It's good. It's actually pretty good. But like as we're walking, we're like, oh, dude, weird. I get confused with this type of stuff.
I don't know. I say
So many
dude all the
labels.
time. I mean,
Guys, I did not mean it for it to be this conversation.
I
It's
totally
relationship.
got
You
confused.
guys realize you took it there, right? Okay, so
you just
Sure.
confuse the grunts.
it's fine.
I'm a pogue. I don't know about being a grunt. You're a
No,
pogue.
you're artillery, right?
Yeah, if you're not infantry, you're a pogue.
I don't know if that technically is true anymore. I mean,
In
I'm
the
not
Marine Corps, that's
infantry.
what you are.
I'm not infantry, but I've kicked doors down in theater. So am I a pogue?
Yes.
Mhm.
Pogues kick ass too. I'm not saying they don't.
Yes.
A lot of pogues nowadays have done more work than a lot of infantrymen have done now. So
I don't know. I mean, you can't say someone's not a grunt if they've done grunt stuff.
is that how the army works?
Maybe.
In the Marine
Aren't you all
Corps world-
riflemen first?
Yeah, no, yeah, that's a bunch of marketing. We all know how to shoot, that's for sure. But like Marines, if you're not an 03, you're a pogue. Doesn't
That's
matter.
funny.
But you're still respected. You just can't be called. You're still a grunt.
No, in the army, you're a grunt if you are combat arms.
Okay, so if I was in the army, I'd be a grunt.
Yeah, you're a grunt.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm not. So, in the eyes of any of my Marine brethren who are currently listening to this, I am not claiming to be a grunt, nor do I ever mention that I am. I am a pogue. Don't call me
I'm
later. and
scared,
chew me out.
Shy.
I'm just saying.
It's
Hey,
covering all the bases.
Marines are fanatical. Grunts are worse. So,
I know.
anyways, we're going back to it. Going back to the original conversation of like convention and the whole issue with like being public or not and being for kids. Like you're new to the convention thing, and I'm fairly new to, but I've been going to convention for a minute, but not as like a exhibitor, I guess you would say. Like I've been
Mhm.
there, and then I've gone to like as a VIP, but not displaying. So I'll be kicking it with all my friends who are actually exhibiting and setting stuff up, setting stuff down. I never felt that before. Like there's a difference between people until recently, like between builders. And I've come to notice, and Ryan Emnar has mentioned it before, that there are some times where there is like a sense of mockers feel like they're better than people. Do you get a sense of that? Because you do mocks.
Like, do I get a sense that mock builders?
Do you feel that mock builders are in a higher level than regular Lego fans?
That's kind of like, I don't know. Lego is a hobby, so it's something that's supposed to be fun. And if it's something that's stressing you out, then you're obviously approaching it, in a way that you probably shouldn't be. Some people like to build sets. Some people like to build mocks. Some people just like to mod stuff. There's not really a wrong way to Lego. If you're confusing likes and follows for talent, that's an entirely different thing.
Whew.
Just because you build sets doesn't mean you don't know what you're doing. You will learn from a set no matter what. Whether you're a set builder or a mock builder, you will learn something from a set. It's not like there's no value in set building. And besides, sometimes, it's nice to just shut your brain off and follow instructions, follow orders,
Yes.
not really think too much about stuff. Sometimes there's sets that just look cool. I think I have 2 or 3 sets on my shelf that are actual like sets.
I mean, a set is someone else's mock, technically. So
That's true. That's true. It was initially a designer's mock, so all sets are mocks.
boom.
The reason why I say that is because I did have someone that came up to me and wanted to collab with something. It kind of rubbed me off the wrong way because he was like, are you going to build an actual castle? I'm like, yeah, I am collecting parts to build a real castle. And then he was pretty much saying that he wants to help me build a wall for it to expand on the castle, but he wasn't down to like expand on the 3-in-1 castle. So he automatically like if it was a 3-in-1 castle, so if I went in that direction, he didn't want to participate in that.
It's still a different part of the hobby. It's like a different challenge. It's a different way of enjoying the hobby. Like I would, like if it was something that really bothered you about it, you know, and if this was somebody that you like actually want to have a positive relationship with, I would just be like, hey, it seemed like you were, you know, looking down on like, you know, X, Y, and Z or whatever. Like I would say something about it, and then they'll be like, oh no, it's just like not how I enjoy it, and it's not what I take pleasure out of the hobby. You know, it's like, which is fine.
Yeah, no, I have nothing against the dude. Like he's cool. Like that's fine. I didn't take it too much to offense. Maybe because I was already in that mentality of the whole weekend, where I was just like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, this was a good icing to the cake to the end of it as I'm tearing stuff down. You know what I mean? So
overall, it was not a positive experience.
I got free Lego. I got.
Why did
aside from that, I mean,
mean?
I made best with what it was. Like I enjoyed my time with my friends who were there, so that's cool. Like I had to like build Lego with a friend and make a story. That was like the best part of it. The only thing that was really missing was the public and the kids. And I feel like if that element or if those elements were there, the other stuff that was kind of like me dwelling upon it wouldn't matter. Because I wouldn't be focused on it. I'll be more focused on telling the story of what's happening, like having the kid, like having, because we had like a little scavenger hunt, like looking for all the stuff, like explaining how this happened. Like I think I would have enjoyed that portion and not even noticed the other stuff. And the fact that none of this was there or those elements weren't there, I could only see what's in front of me, which was that. And I picked up on it quick. I'm like, this is weird. Like I don't like this. Like I don't like this feeling.
Did you feel like they were like judging you?
Like, oh no, I didn't.
Was it like being in a sauna with a bunch of guys older than you or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
With no towels. Yes. Yeah.
That's
what it felt like.
I see.
That's
Like,
Did it feel like a science competition or like a school competition or something like that versus like?
I guess so. Yeah. It just didn't feel very welcoming, and they were trying to make it that way, and I get that there was an attempt to it.
But it was the AFOLs themselves, wasn't it?
Yeah,
plus you're the new guy.
You guys realize like AFOLs are usually like socially awkward, like super dorks.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Like,
Most
I
definitely.
don't think that's a fair assumption to make, though. I mean, AFOLs come from, everywhere. You have right
it's
here.
a
You have
hobby. I totally disagree. It's a hobby that requires you to stay inside a lot of the time, and like particularly like, especially if you're like collecting to such a degree or enjoying to such a degree that you're going to go to conventions. I think it's not, look, people that I've met there have been really friendly, but there's also been an extreme introverts that the only place that they do have social activity is at these conventions, and which is why that they're so great. And so, to be honest, it's like
Comic-Con.
It's like Comic-Con, but it's also even less so because Comic-Con's even bigger, right? And so the thing with like these things is like, it's also like a hobby that is very good for people with like, who are on the spectrum, who are like all sorts of different degrees of like, like mental handicaps, because it's therapeutic, and it's like there's so many different, like I every time I go to the Lego store, I always see like handicapped adults that obviously like still live with like their parents or their caretakers that are there picking out Lego sets, and they've probably been doing that forever. And it's like
Star Wars sets.
Yeah, it's just
No
like
shade.
I get it.
No.
No,
They're the ones buying Rebel gunships.
Wow.
Cold blooded.
no, but you know what I mean. I don't mean like
Yeah.
And so,
I get it. I get that.
Yeah.
That makes
And
sense.
then,
Cracking jokes.
I don't know. I just think that it's like it's not your normal social gathering. It's not going to have like the normal
That's probably fair to say.
social rules and etiquettes, that other standard environments would have.
I would guess that people who are not socially awkward would be the outliers in such a situation.
Yeah.
Well, and then the hobbies had a massive influx because of the pandemic.
Yeah, that's true.
Like the pandemic is the best thing that ever happened to Lego.
Mhm.
Yes.
They're like, what the? Keep it coming.
Wonder.
Um,
No.
Uh-oh.
No. They didn't do
This
this.
start a whole new conspiracy theory.
Lego responsible for COVID. No.
Sending it out in the boxes.
So Ezra, like when you said you got back into it because your kids and also like because of the pandemic. When stuff with the pandemic is like 100% over, if it ever will be, but in terms of like everything being completely open and safe and stuff, will you stay in the hobby to the same degree? Mm-hmm.
You're here forever.
Yeah,
Good.
I'm a blockhead.
Prove it.
Okay, nice.
Prove it.
There's
Prove it.
$2,000 of bricks sitting behind me right now. I'm not too proud to buy used, so I saved myself a lot of money going through bulk tables, Facebook buys, Bricklink, whatever avenue I can get to get what I need without breaking the bank. I almost never buy sets anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Almost never.
Just watch that.
I said almost never.
Almost. Almost.
My
you're part of
conscience over there dying me out. I did just buy one set
Oh, just watch.
because I had to have it. It's in my backlog.
What was it?
The boutique hotel. Shai, you saw my Cartagena corner garage, didn't you? Or you seen it on Instagram, right? My
Yeah.
corner garage
Yeah.
mod.
Yeah.
So I decided to keep going with that theme, and I've been working on a detective's office mod.
Drum roll.
Just a little side project. Where's my camera? There we go.
Oh, there you go.
Ooh.
Nice.
So I'm doing the detective's office,
That's fun.
but I'm redoing it as a record store and a hair salon.
Yes.
That's fun.
So I'm adding lots of color and flowers and plants and soda machine out back.
Yes, I like that. That's cool.
Are you gonna use the beat bits as like records?
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. Someone's
The
making
video
use of that
ones,
too.
yes. The little, yes. I love
Nice.
those. When I saw those, I was like, those are perfect for my record store.
Yeah,
Those are
that's
fun.
exactly what I thought. Yep, nice.
And then I found one of these in a friend set.
Oh, what?
Mhm.
Oh, okay,
And
I see. Okay.
so I'm a huge fan of Friends because I love the ridiculous colors.
Mhm.
I'm a painter by trade, so my job outside of Lego is I'm a painting instructor at one of those wine and paint places.
Oh,
And so as an artist, I really appreciate palettes of color, and you get some amazing colors from the Friends sets that you don't normally see in Lego,
Yeah.
yeah, like City or even the modulars.
Mhm.
And that
Shout
was
out to
my
Dots, too.
biggest complaint about, the dots are great too. That was my biggest complaint about the corner garage. It's ugly.
I mean, it looks like a normal building.
It's this butt ugly brownstone, and it's horrible. So I made mine like
All these other.
medium azure blue and lime green with Spanish roofs and archways and like flowers cascading
Yes.
off of it. And it's awesome. I love it so much.
is.
And the best
Dope.
part was is every time I took it to a convention, every single Colombian in the room was like, hey, that's Cartagena. That's the Colombian flag. Are you Colombian? And I'm like, yeah, I am. And they're like,
Nice.
that's so great. I love that you're showing your culture with this. And I was like, okay, that's awesome. And then so when the boutique hotel came out, I was like, come on.
No.
Yeah. Definitely.
So this thing screams Tequendama to me all over it, which is a very famous waterfall hotel in Colombia.
Mhm.
So I'm going to mod the shit out of the boutique hotel and make that thing way more colorful. And
It doesn't need as much. Honestly, like it doesn't
no,
need
it doesn't.
as many changes as like the corner. Like even if you just like put it, like you could see something like that in as is. I think there.
Yeah, I think I could drop it in as is to my little Cartagena Caribbean city, and
I
it
think it would work. Yeah.
wouldn't even need much. Maybe some balconies and some more flowers,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But
Like bougainvillea coming down the front.
yes, yeah, Bougainvillea is like my jam. I love Bougainvillea.
Me too.
What do you call it? I've been working on the Bougainvillea on the corner garage mod that I did. I even rebricked the little blue truck to make it red, so it would look more like Mater from Cars.
Mm-hmm.
But since it's Colombian, I call it El Motor.
Nice. Yeah, that's correct. Are you a part of a lug? Do you ever plan to be? You ever think about it? You have OC
You know what?
lug.
I joined something once, and it was kind of a hassle for 6 years. So
Yeah.
All right. Military aside.
I,
Oh, I see. Damn, I didn't even catch that.
Yeah,
Okay. So
so
one of the
when I
things
was in Colorado Springs, Denlug was really nice, and I thought about it.
you have two lugs by you. You have OC and you have Long Beach, and they were both at this. The reason why I'm asking is because one, you have lug bulk, which is cool in a sense. I came up on like 200 burps this weekend just because of shout out to OC Lug, appreciate you guys
Nice.
to add to my city, but it would help many mock builders out there because you have access to a whole new range of pieces that, like, if you wanted to do something specific and you just happen to run out, you have other inventories to kind of scrape from, if not lug bulk themselves. So you
And
said
in
you spent like
massive
$2,000 on
amounts.
that ship. Maybe if you wanted to continue with it, lugs are a perfect reason. I don't know why I'm selling you like a recruiter, but like it's
Right.
You
Devil's
got
advocate
social
over
I'm a
here.
recruiter right now because I almost
Peer pressure.
I already know LA Lug doesn't want something to do with me because they hate my ass. But like
You gotta show up
OC
to
Lug was really
meetings.
pushing hard for like just me trying to be a part of them, or IE doesn't matter, just being
Who,
part of
Tylug?
that. What Tylug? Yeah, Tylug. Because of that is you have access to all these parts and all that kind of stuff. But the other thing to it is that there's a sense of belonging to something within the Lego group, which, going back to what Claire's saying, it's like a lot of introverts, a lot of social awkwardness. I mean, like the whole Lego community as a whole, technically, are a bunch of outsiders, right? In essence, we're not really, but there's a sense of belonging being here. Like when you go to a convention, there's like you feel comfortable, you let your guard down because you are in your happy space, right?
I was not, by the way. I enjoyed it.
Bricks LA.
Brick Fair, Virginia. I had a really great time. I would never call it my happy space though.
I really enjoyed the Brick Fest. I enjoy talking to the people that are interested in my art, and I enjoy inspiring people. And so I actually really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. It could have also been, to be fair, like it was. I mean, it's still pandemic times, so it was also hard for me to enjoy the public days. Like I didn't enjoy being around hundreds of people that were unmasked. Like that wasn't fun for me. And then this is like a year ago also, when like Delta was just starting. And then I also my favorite part about it was just spending time with friends afterwards and beforehand and in the after hours in like smaller group environments. Like that's what I enjoyed about it. But Sans though, it is his happy place. Like he walks around and talks to everybody and stuff. And so that was like really nice. I mean, he's my partner. So like I it's like when someone enjoys it so much, it's like you enjoy it as well. And like,
you enjoy it on their behalf. Yeah. Exactly. I think that was a lot of my wife's enjoyment of the hobby too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like, I love the hobby. I just like, for me, it's always been, and it's funny because I make YouTube videos and I put it like out on the internet and stuff like that. But for me, it's actually been a very like solitary hobby my entire life. And it's been like and I actually really still like that part about it. I prefer building sets on my own quietly. That's still my favorite thing about the hobby. And like, but the people that I've met have been, they make those social experiences worth it. I don't know. I feel like I'm being like, negative Nancy about the convention. I'm really trying to be.
I don't think so, because you're sharing your experience with it.
Yeah, and
it was also
like,
your first convention ever, wasn't it?
This is my first convention ever, and I just if you do go to a convention, you don't have like, if you're not like, oh my god, this is my happy place, like maybe I don't, or it's not my happy place, I don't belong in the Lego community. Like, I don't think you should think that at all. Like, it's not my happy place, and I don't there's no other community that I felt like I belonged in more. It's just
And
like a different way of enjoying the hobby, you know?
it could be just the experience of your first convention. You might go to another convention and have a much better time.
No, I don't think I could have had a better time. I loved it. Like, it was great. Like, I had zero stress. I didn't have to like present a mock. I was just enjoying it. There was like no like project deadline aspect of it. I met tons of people. I saw tons of my friends. Like, you know, there was like no, it was great. It's just that kind of environment. It's just, it's not my happy place. And I honestly, I cannot tell you what is my happy place. I think it's like staying at home with a Lego set by myself.
Preach. No,
You know?
see, I totally understand. I don't really like big groups of people. I don't feel comfortable in big groups of people.
Yeah.
So like this was like Pasadena, that was my first convention.
Yeah.
And like it was cool and everything. But it was still like
It was a
new
lot.
to me. Plus I'm
Yeah.
I'm pretty freaking awkward myself.
No, you're not. You're not.
I knew you guys prior to meeting you. So it's different.
Pasadena was my first convention as well,
Oh, nice.
as an exhibitor and as a fan.
Mhm.
And I think that looking back on the conventions, I think that I would have felt a lot less comfortable as a fan. And I feel that the barrier I had around me with my art and within my exhibit
Mhm.
is what helped me have the positive experience, because I still had my barrier.
Like, do you quite literally mean like a physical barrier, like between
Yeah.
you and everybody?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was more fun for me. Like, so a couple of our friends, they like were at the Star Wars table. So during the public days, I didn't walk around at all. I stayed in the center of like those tables, and that was like the only way I was gonna do it. And
Yeah,
like
it was
the fun
the
part-
same for us. We stayed in our tables. I had at Colorado, I had 3 8-foot tables that were covered with my mocks,
yeah,
and we just stayed in our little bubble for the most part. I mean, you know, like Shai saw at Pasadena, I came out and I mingle and I move around, but generally I would stay in my area, and I think that's what helped keep that
yeah.
sense of like, this is okay.
Yeah, that did that for me too. For me, it's not like a claustrophobia. It's not a social anxiety thing. Like, I definitely know I'm not articulating it right, because I know that I can't like put like, you know, my finger on it as to like why. It's just such a different, it is, okay, no, I really don't want to be like insulting anyway, so please like take this with a grain of salt. It was the dorkiest thing I've ever done in my life. Like, by far. Like, I've never been to a Comic-Con. The conventions I've ever been to were with professional ones, like working backwards, and then like I guess like big sports competitions, and then I did like a Jewish youth group conventions, and those were super weird. And like I don't know why they're just like maybe it was just so abnormal for me. I have never been around so many dorks in my life, and I loved that about it, but it was so different for me that I think like I am just like not used to it. And I live in the Bay Area, which is like it's like Revenge of the Nerds. Like, that's like, you know, what's happening here. So like I don't know what it was. Like, maybe it's because I'm like a bit older, maybe it's because I'm female, but it's like if I was like a dude in my early 20s, or like, I think it would have been the best place on earth.
Oh,
That's
wow.
so funny.
Yeah, I see that. It's so I've done other things like that, and the other things that I love,
Mhm.
and I don't think it's. I see how it can be dorky, but we all nerd out about different things, so it doesn't feel like it's dorky. But
It's okay to be nerdy in
no,
2020.
if I were to go into the opposite direction of my other stuff, so motorcycles, motorcycle festivals.
He's
parties
just
and
trying to
stuff
be
like
cool
that.
now.
Now you're just
But
flexing,
would you
Shai.
think that's dorky? I mean, it's a bunch of dudes and women who like are really, really geeked out about a motorcycle.
Hey, those
Like,
bikes
yeah,
look
It's
fresh.
just
though.
a question of what's socially acceptable to geek out about.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But
And
no,
I
it's not only
Because
that,
fantasy
but-
football is just Dungeons and Dragons for sports nerds.
exactly.
was-
And then when I go to dance competitions, it's a bunch of people who are dancing and stuff like that, when other people on the motorcycle will probably call them a bunch of negative stuff for dancing. So like in all these like little circles that people go in, you know, like
I've never been in one of those circles though. I've never been in like a super intense, like my friends and I are all kind of like, you know, skimming the surface in terms of like our hobbies and
Hobby.
like super intense.
like diving into the hobby, like
the
diving
thing
hard
that
into
we dive, yeah, like I've always
Yeah.
dove into stuff, but like independently of my friends. None of my friends dive
Mhm.
into their hobbies the way that I do. These are like
Mhm.
my lifetime friends, you know? And then like a lot of them, like the thing that we would dive into is like travel and food.
What
And
is happening?
and that's what we would spend like all our money and time on. And so but that is like, I don't know, it's like a very different kind of experience. And I'm not trying to sound like an elitist or anything, because I'm thoroughly enjoying this. I just like have never felt like a sense of something new like this in a long time. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I know. I totally get that.
Yeah.
It's you're in new waters. You're trying to understand the community, what it is. You've technically already been touching the hobby for a very long time, but like this area of it is like new. I mean, just
I mean, plus
being
like we were
invested in
saying,
something like that.
like we we're saying, a lot of people. There was like a certain type of person that was into Lego, you know, like a couple years ago, as opposed to now, a lot more people are into it. So it's like socially acceptable.
Okay, Marvel movies, Marvel
Right?
comic books.
That used to be.
I
no
used to
bueno.
get
People would laugh at
beat
you for that
up
stuff.
as a kid in the late 80s and early 90s for liking Captain America.
You like Spider-Man? What the hell, this guy?
And now Spider-Man No Way Home, and no spoilers. I haven't seen it yet because I haven't been able to get a sitter for my kids.
Right.
I have kids, so I have to wait until somebody can watch the little
Exactly.
buggers.
You have extra.
But like everywhere you go, you see middle-aged men in Captain America shirts, Iron Man shirts. You know, like it is culturally acceptable to love these characters now that were completely unacceptable 25 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Unacceptable.
And
Yeah.
look at Star Wars too. Same thing.
Yeah,
Like,
Star Wars was the same thing. Oh, you like Star Wars? You're a dork. You're a nerd.
Yeah.
there's
Nerd.
definitely still environments where that's still
There
Yeah, it
is,
still-
but
still
it's
happens.
not like it used to be in the 80s.
no.
No, it's not. No.
So
It's like,
and
it's like, oh, you're a nerd. Ha ha ha. That's cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
As opposed
like,
to you're a nerd.
you
I'm
can
a fucking
literally
joke
ask
now.
people like, "What's your nerddom?"
Yeah. Like, what do you know?
And everybody knows. Like everybody has their thing.
It's funny
Yeah.
because Dungeons and Dragons is still in the shadows, I think.
Yeah, God, no.
It's
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 still out
still
there,
a
though.
little bit lingering in the dark there.
People are like, I don't know about that. It's pushing it too far.
Mhm.
I don't know.
But,
I've never
like-
But it's
dove
out
into that, so I wouldn't know. I mean, 40K, does that count? 40K counts, right?
Man,
It's the same
40K
thing.
is 40K is lingering over there in the weirdo
Yeah.
end too.
Yeah.
it's dangerous.
It's role playing. But see, but 40K, you have like video games now for the lore, and there's all these books and stuff.
Yeah, but Dungeons and Dragons you do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's like a combination of like a few things. I think it's like people who are into those things, like growing up and then normalizing them as adults. One, then it's those industries actually having like financial backing to them as to like how they are so powerful, right? So it's like the Hollywood side of things that
Mhm.
basically took what was on comics and like put it on like, you know, the silver screen. And then people love to like one up and be honorary about things. And so they're like, oh, well, I read the comics, or I like, you know, gatekeeping in their own way. And they're like, I read the comics, or I didn't read the comics, or whatever that is, you know, and like people like to one up each other. So that like obviously like came back into it. And then with with other dorky things, I think it's just like financially lucrative. I think there's like reasons, like video games, for example, like those are multi-billion-dollar like industries.
Shoot,
And so,
I still
like-
buy Pokemon cards.
When like when like money normalizes like a lot of these things, you know what I mean? And I think that's like when the industries become like widespread and like household, I think that's when they're like a little bit less dorky, or they're still dorky, but they're like socially acceptable dorky. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you're a software engineer who works at Facebook who makes like six figures, and like you like spend all waking hours not working when you're just playing video games. Oh yeah, that's pretty normal. Yeah, and just like sitting and like smoking weed in front of the TV. Like I remember like if you
Sounds like a good time.
yeah, but like if you were like a kid, I remember like if I was like in high school and there was like a kid, like doesn't matter if they got really good grades, but all they did all day was like exactly that, I'd be like, oh, it's so gross. That guy is probably like CEO of some startup, you know, like, and it's
Now, yeah.
yeah, you
Yeah,
know,
that's
and it's
crazy.
like that's so it's like changed, you know, that's like it's kind of just like changed a bit, you know. It's not the finance guy or the doctor that's gonna, you know, bring home the big bucks anymore, unfortunately. But
No, not anymore.
not that kind of money. Not that kind of tech money. But so I think, and that's what I meant by saying like Bay Area is like very much like Revenge of the Nerds. It's like these like super dorky guys that like and women are all people that basically decided to, who were socially like, you know, maybe outcasts at one point, who just like killed it and have done so well financially that they're just like kings and queens of their environments. And there's like so many messed up things because of it, but there's also a lot of good things because of it. But
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting, but it's part of that is like part of normalizing, I think, a lot of this like nerdy hobby stuff. And then like conventions are kind of a really old style of enjoying hobbies, which is kind of interesting. It's like everybody getting into a room and being like, we like the same thing. And it's like, that's quite literally all that happens.
Yeah.
And it's like, and let's like hang out and show what we've done and just like talk about it and have events surrounding it. And it's like, it's that's like been around forever, and hopefully it'll like, you know, keep going, because it is fun and it's a different environment and each of them are different, and you can bring your kids or you can't bring your kids. It's like all fun. Or if you're like me and you like to like hang out with your friends after and like not do like the big convention-y stuff, that's like, it's still worth it. Like, you know,
Still like a reunion.
exactly. Like for me, like my favorite thing to do is just like kick it with my friends and like quite literally just that. And like in a small environment, like going to Disneyland with like 4 of my friends, or like going to hang out with Shy and Ninja in downtown Disney for just a few hours, like that's my happy place. Do you know what I mean? And not independent of Disney.
I'm about to tear up right now.
No, but like independent of
Oh.
Disney, like literally sitting and like you know, pulling off the side of the road to like go to In-N-Out, you know.
Yeah, but
with-
Disney's a drive for you, isn't it?
yeah, it's a drive for
Yeah.
us. No, but you know what I mean. No, but I'm just
Yeah,
saying
yeah, I get the
like
concept. Yes.
these casual interactions, you know, like
Simple thing.
Even like the first time we met up, we didn't even go to Disney.
no, we just like went to Bricks and Minifix. I didn't even buy anything, and I had the best time. Like that's my happy place, and that the Lego community brought that to me. You know,
I like BAM.
have you gone with like friends like from the Lego community to those things?
Only
Like-
with my kids and my wife. Well, my wife's my best friend.
Oh yeah, that's the
so-
best.
Nice.
My wife, I mean, we sit around and we play video games together. We build Lego together. We hang out with the kids together.
Cleaning.
We do everything together. So, you know, when I'm sorting, she helps sometimes if she's in the mood to. But like when I go to BAM, I get the kids and my wife, and I'm like, I'm looking for X, Y, and Z, and they all help. And so I've got this like little sorting crew attacking the tables. So-
Nice.
I just
Teamwork
found
makes the
out that
dream
there's
work.
one in Ontario. Did you know that, Ninja?
Nah, I did
Yeah.
not know that.
I didn't know there was one in Ontario.
I would have been hitting that. Dang.
It's
Okay.
close to you. So
Ontario's far from me.
no. For Ninja, it's closer to him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where are you at, Ninja?
It's in like Riverside.
Redlands?
No, Riverside,
Oh, you're in Riverside.
next to Merino Valley.
Okay, I know Mo Valley. I'm in Orange County, so I know your area.
Okay, yeah.
I'm planning on heading up to Lake Arrowhead soon.
Oh, okay. In the mountains.
Was that an
Oh,
invite or something?
What's that?
Was that an invite?
Yeah, hell, y'all are invited when I move. Come see the
Oh, you're
Lego room in
moving to
person.
Arrowhead.
Yeah, I'm moving to
Oh,
Lake
okay.
Arrowhead.
Ah,
Nice. Okay.
I thought you were just going there for a trip.
No. I'm done. As soon as all my VA stuff settles, I am buying a house in Lake Arrowhead.
Nice. Okay.
I'm
Seclusion.
done. I've had it with the city. I've had it with the noise. I've had it with the congestion. I've had it with the people. I want to be on the mountain. And the best thing about Lake Arrowhead is 4 seasons, and you
Yeah.
still get Southern California tacos.
Dang, I never
Arrowhead?
thought of it like that.
That's a big deal. Why do you like 4 seasons? I'm just curious. Like, why is it a thing that people like? I don't understand.
I've spent enough time in the damn desert.
The
Oh,
desert
see,
sucks. Okay,
that's
there's
where
the
I'm at.
desert, and there's like there's other seasons. There's other climates other than those two, though.
I've experienced almost all
I
of
guess
them. So I
summer
lived in
and
Georgia
fall.
for 5 years. I've been to Colorado where it's like stupid, redonkulous cold.
It's not that bad there. It's not that bad. It's just dry. I lived there for like 4
And
years.
high.
It was like 12 degrees.
Hey, Colorado.
Yeah, Chicago's colder, by the way.
Oh,
And
Chicago's
heat.
also a big ass city at sea level next to a lake that has horrible things in it.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay.
So, no. Okay,
that's crazy.
growing up in Southern California is really nice because we only have 2 seasons here. We have summer and not summer.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Not summer.
People don't
Well, it's in
understand that
San
when I
Francisco.
tell them. Like, we only get
No,
to
it's literally only you have summer and you have not summer.
which is just
that's it.
slightly colder.
Yeah. Except today, where today was like
My
74 for some damn reason.
I feel so weird when I tell people I'm cold. They're like, "What?
don't know.
What's the
Oh, yeah.
temperature?"
It was cold where I'm at.
It's like
Screw you
60.
guys.
Shy,
What the hell?
Shy.
That's
When we were in
nice.
Pasadena, I was telling Brick Huntress that I was cold.
Oh, okay, come on. You
no,
can't tell
no.
anybody outside of California that you're
No,
cold.
but
Like,
where-
yeah,
Exactly.
Where
They look
Kate
at you-
is, Kate has it's been like -20 up there. And
Yeah,
it's been
That's
really
insane.
They're like,
bad. No,
"What is-"
that's extreme. No.
The worst I've ever experienced was in Georgia, and I had to go running in 12 degrees.
Oh man.
And
See,
Georgia
down south,
is-
we're not built like that.
Georgia is damp all the
Yes.
time. It's either wet and cold or it's hot and wet.
So is Oregon, so it feels even colder than what
Yeah.
the temperature is.
Yeah,
So, like,
that wet cold is just ugh.
That's why like when you go to Palm Desert or Palm Springs or whatever, and it's like 110 degrees, it doesn't feel like it because it's not
It's
humid.
dry.
So it's dry. Yeah.
That's right.
Right. But okay, so like
We have
here's
the
the
best.
reason that I like Lake
I agree
Arrowhead.
with that.
Okay, I looked at the weather for Lake Arrowhead today. There's
Mhm.
snow on the ground up there, but it was 54 degrees outside and sunny
Yeah.
That's Denver, Colorado.
without being Denver, Colorado.
Yeah, but that's true.
Yes.
But, no, but I was gonna say Denver is cool though because it has more sun than like Florida. So I will like props to Colorado for having like even though when it's cold, it's like sunny all the time. So which does make things like quite a bit better.
But no tacos.
No, they have really good tacos. They have really good.
They're not
They're-
Southern
they're-
California tacos.
I've heard they're getting up there.
Yeah, they're
But
really
you just
good. They're good.
can't hit the
There's a big community there. They're good. I had the best like Venezuelan food I've ever had in my life in the middle of Colorado. The best sushi I've ever had in the middle of Colorado. That place is landlocked.
I have a rule about sushi in landlocked states.
Mm-hmm. It really doesn't matter, right? You know, it's flown in from Japan, so it just doesn't matter where it lands, right? It's not
Yeah, I
like you're
know. It's all like
Yes.
fresh frozen.
All right. So ultimately, we just want to go where we feel comfortable and happy.
Yeah, I mean, I like Lake Arrowhead because you got all the climates. It's surrounded by trees. It's got that small town feel.
Mhm. It
But
is.
it's still, it's like an hour and a half from my mother-in-law. It's an hour and a half from my parents. It's an hour
Is
and a
it
half
like-
from the beach.
is it like a growing community or is it like
No.
kind of quiet?
Mm-mm.
No.
Very quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My
you
mom
go to
actually just
vacation.
moved from up there.
It's not growing because it's really hard to commute up and down that mountain.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
so if
exactly
you like
why
work
she
from
moved.
home
Yeah.
and stuff or whatever.
It's a resort town.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you work from home or you are stable, it's a great place.
That sounds like Lake Tahoe. You know what I
Very
mean?
similar. Yeah,
Yeah.
very similar to
Mhm.
Tahoe.
Or like
Uh,
Reno.
Arrowhead's nice.
People from
Arrowhead's
here.
really nice.
go to Reno.
Probably closer to Tahoe because Lake Arrowhead is it's an artistic community for the most part.
Mhm,
A lot of old Hollywood types, a lot of Disney artists.
mhm.
Actually, my friend owns a tattoo shop up there also.
Oh, that's
I don't know if
cool.
he still owns it now that I think about it.
It's a very artistic community.
Yeah.
Those
And-
places, like I love them, and like in my head, I'm like, that's where I want to live. I'm always like so afraid to like buy property there. Do you know what I mean? I don't know why. It's like just from like an investment perspective, but like God, it feels like that's a different conversation entirely. By the way, it's just like
I'm not that
Yeah.
worried about it because I'm like, give 'em my VA loan, punks.
well, not that. I think like if it's where you want to be and your emotional decision is like you feel really passionate, then it doesn't matter. It's like this is your
Yeah,
home. It's
That's
like,
true. My wife and I both feel connected to the mountain.
That's really
Yeah.
Yeah,
know.
like
That's what it is.
for a long time, you'll spend a long time in your life trying to look for that community where you feel like you want to put your roots down. And it took us a long time to figure out where that was. And when we finally started going up the hill, we were like, wow, we really like it here. That was kind of like a big decider for us.
I'm really jealous that you've like found that. Like, I feel like I know like Shy is also kind of in my boat in the sense of just.
I was right about 37, 36 when we figured out Arrowhead. So you'll probably figure it out pretty soon too.
We'll see. I have no idea. I'm also incredibly indecisive. I realized like very recently I've been in San Francisco for like 8 years now.
Which part of San Francisco are you in?
The crappy part. No, I'm like right in the middle. I'm like right on the border of like the shit river and like the nice part. So
Damn, right on the line.
Part. I haven't been up to San Francisco in a few years, but I used to like going up there.
Yeah, give us a few years. Just give us a few years to recover, you know? Just like don't.
My best friend went to UC Berkeley.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to go into town pretty often, but this was years ago.
Yeah, it was probably like really fun and beautiful and like
it was.
You know,
It was before plagues and divisive presidents and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's not where I wanted to end it. It would have been nice to end it back on the whole metaphor of finding a place up the mountain. which this soldier failed to understand and divert the conversation a different way. So
you set me up for failure, Marine.
God,
you
damn it.
properly
I was like, oh, that was the way to end it.
It was the equipment malfunction.
Ultimately, going back to my original synopsis of the beginning part of this episode is everyone trying to find somewhere where they belong. Really, that's just what it is.
Right here.
Oh,
somewhere where they click.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
cute.
that was
cute. That was cute.
Wow.
And with that note, I'm gonna just roll that music right now because we're just gonna keep talking forever. All right, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for having me.
I was like, come on, end it right there. End it right there. That was perfect. Stop it.
Shut up, tanker.
It was a full circle about everything plus a metaphor, and it made sense.
Yeah. Well, it's like very much like like conventions, misfits, finding a home and feeling secure.